An hour later, Gabe jogged toward his dark sedan. The well-lit parking lot was packed with extra vehicles tonight, so Gabe had been forced to park on the far side of the lot, which was much darker than the area near the building. He sighed. The box he'd brought for Sean was heavy. It would be a long hike back, lugging 30 pounds of files. Using his keyless entry, he popped the trunk in the darkness and leaned in, glad his trunk had a dim orange light in it. A soft, cool wind blew through the lot, ruffling his shirt and bringing the scent of a rank dumpster with it. Psst! With a frown, he straightened up, his heart beating faster. Had that been a whisper? Or just an imagined movement? They were deep in the city here, but stray animals, especially cats, were common sights. Gabe was the only human in the parking lot as far as he could tell. Deciding he'd imagined it, he reached for the box again. Psst! Hey you! Over here! Snapping upright, Gabe put a hand on his gun, wondering what awaited him in the shadows. The voice had come from off to his left, but the whisper made it hard to pinpoint. He couldn't even tell if it was masculine or feminine. 20 feet from his car, he stopped. Over here! The harsh whisper came again. By the dumpster. Gabe's eyes found a blue industrial-sized dumpster in a shadowy corner of the lot. Probably what he'd smelled earlier, it was situated at the mouth of a narrow alley that ran to an intersecting street in the distance. Gabe squinted, trying to make out shapes in the darkness. A silhouette, darker than the surrounding murk, stepped out from behind the dumpster. Small in stature, the figure was either a woman or a youth. Baggy, shapeless clothing gave no hint to the contours beneath. He couldn't see long hair either, but when the figure looked toward the precinct building, the distant lights flashed off eyes bluer than he'd ever seen. They were electric, and Gabe wondered if they could possibly be real. Do you need help? Gabe asked, raising his voice to be sure the figure would hear him. I need to talk to you. The harsh whisper came again. The figure kept looking up and down the alley as though afraid to be seen. Come over here. Half amused, half wary, Gabe put his hand more conspicuously on his gun. Why don't you just step into the light for me? No, I can't be seen talking to the cops. With a grunt, Gabe took a few steps closer to the dumpster. He wasn't about to walk into a dark alley on faith that this person wouldn't harm him. The precinct was only a few hundred feet away, and Gabe was a decent-sized man, but there was no guarantee that the shadowy figure wasn't armed. When he stopped short of the alley, the figure breathed out in frustration, looked up and down the alley again, and finally emerged, stepping in front of the dumpster. The light was faint, but he could see her more clearly now. It was a woman, though not a very feminine-looking one. Black baggy sweats and a matching hoodie were an effective camouflage against the night. He supposed that was the idea. The sleeves of her hoodie were pushed above her elbows, not surprising considering the warmth of the night, and even in the dim light he could see small, inflamed puncture marks in the crook of her elbow, many with dark, ugly lines, no doubt a sign of inflamed veins, leading out from them. Black, spiky haircut, in a way one usually only saw on grade school boys, did nothing to show her gender either. Her face might have been pretty if it wasn't so pale. Dark circles under her eyes and gaunt cheeks showed poor health, though her face glistened as though she'd recently been sweating. It made her skin look thick and splotchy. Are you alright? Gabe asked. Is this precinct participating in the raid of the Carmichael district? Gabe blinked. How on earth could she know something like that? The woman studied his face before nodding. I'll take that as a yes, she said briskly. You've got to put a stop to it. Gabe's mouth hung open for a moment. For a junkie, she picked up on body language quickly. Suddenly, lying seemed like a great idea. Listen, ma'am, I'm not sure what you mean. Anything of that nature is police business. She waved her hand as though it was of no consequence. Yeah, you don't have to confirm anything. Just stop the raid. Ma'am, it's a trap. They're going to ambush you. Gabe stared at her. Who? She let out her breath in a gust of exasperation. The gang! Sons of Ares? In the Carmichael district? They know you're coming. Everyone in the Slipmire seems to. How do you... I don't know what they're planning, but you can bet it will be messy. They're better prepared than you could imagine. They hate cops, so either they'll try to kill you, or just do some really gory damage. Gabe laughed, in surprise more than anything else. Listen, I don't know how you know all this, but I'm going to need you to come into the station and speak with my superiors. No! He hadn't moved toward her, but she danced back several steps as though he had, only stopping when she backed up against the dumpster. If that was an option, I wouldn't be skulking creepily in the parking lot, she said dryly. He did step toward her this time. Ma'am, no! She retreated farther, stepping around the dumpster. I came to warn you, and I have. What you do with the information is on you. Gabe stared at her, utterly at a loss as to how to react. Just do it, she hissed, or all your cop buddies are going to die tonight.